Thank you for joining us today. I'm Marjorie Stevens, CEO for BBB Serving Northern Indiana. We welcome you today to learn about programs offered by the U.S. Small Business Administration. A few housekeeping items. Everyone is on mute. Questions can be submitted anytime throughout the presentation via your chat box. Our Communications Director, Nicole Thomas, will open up questions you have at the end of this presentation. Today's content will be presented by Laura Schopnitz. Laura is a Public Affairs Specialist with the U.S. Small Business Administration, Indiana District Office, whose expertise lies in bringing government, public, and private organizations together to share resources and opportunities to help small businesses start, grow, expand, and recover. A graduate of Webster University and a U.S. Army veteran, Laura has worked in public affairs her entire career, bringing news and resources from the highest echelons of government to people around the world. Laura, first of all, thank you for your service and welcome.
Thank you, Marjorie, and thank you, everyone. And thanks for joining me on this webinar. I really do appreciate it. Today, we're going to talk about, what we're going to talk about is the SBA over the past year, where we were before COVID, where we went, where we are, and where we're going to go. And also going to talk about some of the traditional SBA resources that are available for small businesses, whether you've been affected, I can speak, I swear, by the pandemic, your business has been affected by the pandemic or not. So with all that said, let's get started here. U.S. Small Business Administration, we are a federal agency. We've been around since 1953, and our mission has been and always will be working to help small businesses start, grow, expand, and recover their small businesses. Why do we do that? Because small businesses are the backbone of the American economy. Over 99% of the businesses in the state of Indiana are considered small businesses, and they employ well over 50% of Indiana's who are working here in the state. So that's a huge impact on the local economy. And in the local economy, these are the folks that, it ranges, small businesses range from, they're the staffing firm that help the big companies staff their lines, such as, it just escaped me. And also the local coffee shop, some of the local grocery stores, some of the, the local shoe store, the things that you want to go do and see down on the town square on the weekends. A lot of times, those are going to be small businesses. Not everybody works for, and even, I was going to say not everybody works for McDonald's, but even that first job at McDonald's, more than likely you were working for a franchised location, which means that franchise is owned by a small business owner. So these are the folks who are making sure that our towns and our cities and our neighborhoods have that get up and go and keep them beautiful and keep them clean, keep them safe, and make them the place that you want to be. So that's why our mission is so important to the American economy. Why? Because small businesses are what makes us do what we can do. So our agenda for today, like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about where we are now. I'm going to get in the weeds a little bit about the COVID-19 relief options that have been available for small businesses. I'm going to talk a little bit about the loan programs, new programs that have come out, such as the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant and the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. I don't know how many folks have heard about both of those programs, but those are the newest programs that we've been able to put together because of the American Relief Act. and also talk a little bit about where you can go as a small business owner for additional assistance, some of the traditional SBA products and resources, such as our resource partners who provide one-on-one counseling for small businesses right there in your community, as well as contracting programs to help small businesses who are interested in becoming certified as a woman-owned small business or a veteran-owned or a service-disabled veteran-owned small business, and some of the contracting programs that are available to help them grow their federal contracting portfolio. So, where are we right now? Prior to 2020, prior to March 23rd, when the state of Indiana was declared a state of emergency due to COVID, not a lot of folks knew what the SBA was, or the Small Business Administration. A lot of folks, when they heard of SBA, they would say, oh, the Small Business Association, do I have to join that? What is it? Don't they do loans? Well, yes and no. Yes, the Small Business Administration, as a federal agency, we provide backing, federal guarantees to different types of small business loans. We also, as I said, offer some other programs, but we're not an association. You don't have to be a member. As a federal agency, we are here for everyone. So prior to 2020, most folks didn't know who the SBA was, and that's okay. We were a best kept secret. But when you found out who we were, we did everything that we could to help your small business start, grow, expand, and recover. Last year, when the pandemic hit, small businesses found themselves, and everyone found themselves in trouble. SBA was able to turn around and open their Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, which is actually a product that we've had around for several decades. That is a disaster loan program. And we were able to open that up due to COVID for all small businesses who have been affected by COVID. We've continued to develop other programs. Most folks have heard of the PPP, or the Paycheck Protection Program. And with the last act that has been passed by Congress, the American Rescue Plan Act, we've been able to develop and continue programs to help those small businesses who've been affected by COVID. So what kind of programs do we have under the economic relief funding options? We have our Paycheck Protection Program. We also have a debt relief program. So folks who already have a traditional SBA loan or a 504 loan or a microloan, they can have some relief from having to pay those payments during the pandemic. We have our Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, and we also have the newest programs, which are the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant, and our latest program, which is the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. Start a little bit with PPP. Since PPP opened up last year, nationwide, we have been able to approve well over 10 million. Sorry, my dog has something to say about that. Well over 10 million loans, and been able to put over $770 billion in the hands of American small businesses that are in need. That's throughout the United States. Here in the region, the Great Lakes region, which includes Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, we've approved over 852,000 loans for over $42 billion. And here in Indiana, through April 25th, we've approved over 85,000 loans for almost, we're gonna get there, $4 billion. So some of the top takeaways for the PPP program so far, and some ways that we've been able to tweak the program to be able to help more folks apply for and receive PPP funding, is we've expanded that PPP eligibility and how the funds can be used. We have created the second draw PPP loan option. So folks who received a PPP loan early on in the pandemic, they are now eligible to apply for a second PPP loan. We've done some things to deduct the deduction of expenses covered in forgiveness. We've made some tweaks to that to make it easier for small businesses to have their PPP loan forgiven. We've made some updates, and we also, a big thing was in the beginning of the pandemic, in order to get cash in folks' hands as quickly as possible, we had what was called the EIDL Advance Program. And that was up to $10,000 based on the number of employees that a company had. That was put into small business persons or small business owners' businesses, and regardless if they were approved for an EIDL loan or not. Well, when PPP opened up originally, if you had received an EIDL advance, that amount was deducted from the amount of your PPP loan. That has changed. So if you received the EIDL advance, that's no longer deducted from that PPP forgiveness amount. Some other things that we've been able to do to enhance the ability for small businesses to receive PPP funding is in early March, we were able to open up a 14-day exclusivity period for those businesses that were the smallest of the small and were the more minority-owned businesses and disadvantaged businesses with less than 20 employees. We were able to open up a window where only they could apply. And it gave folks some breathing room, especially those folks that didn't have a lot of employees and were really struggling. We also increased support for independent contractors, sole proprietors, and self-employed individuals, because originally in the early days with EIDL, they weren't originally eligible for those programs, but we were able to open that up and make it so independent contractors and sole proprietors became eligible. Those who were self-employed became eligible for the PPP program. And then there's some more things here, getting into the weeds on schedule fees and taxes and gross income, just ways that we've been able to simplify the process and help make more people eligible for the program in order to receive the funding. We've also expanded who can apply for the PPP loan with a lot of traditional SBA products. If you had a felony on your record, or there had been some issues in the past, or you had had an issue with, oh, my dog saw a bird, sorry about that. If you had had some issues with defaulting on student loans or something of that nature, you weren't eligible for traditional SBA products, we have been able to open that up. So more people who are in those predicaments have been able to take advantage of the PPP loan. So what's the application process look like? With the PPP, this is not something that the SBA processes. You actually go through one of our SBA preferred lenders. And that's something else great about the PPP program is we have opened up the number and brought over, just in the state of Indiana, we've brought over 4,000 more lenders into our SBA preferred lender mix. And so that means more banking, more banks, more credit unions. We've opened up SBA preferred lenders to include CDFIs, fintechs. So it gives more folks an opportunity to find someone who can process their PPP loan. And if you're looking to apply for a PPP loan, just want to give you a word of warning. PPP is set to expire May 31st of this year, unless Congress passes some extended regulations. But at this point, if you're interested in PPP, I would advise that you find a lender, talk to your lender if you have an existing relationship with your bank or a financial institution or what have you. Contact them, ask them, hey, are you processing PPP loans? You can also go online to sba.gov/lendermatch, and we will match you with an SBA preferred lender who can help you, walk you through the process of applying for a PPP loan through them. Complete the application and get it in as soon as possible. Once all the documentation is in and that lender has approved the loan, they submit the information to SBA, and we give that final approval. Basically, with a PPP loan, this is another instance where SBA is pretty much guaranteeing a loan to the bank. So the lender is processing it, and they approve the loan. They say, okay, based on all of these elements, you're eligible for X amount of dollars. We're going to approve you for X amount of dollars. And this is where the forgiveness component comes in. If you meet all the criteria and file all the appropriate paperwork with the lender in order for that loan to be forgiven, that means basically SBA is coming in and giving that money for that loan to the bank. So the bank is going to get paid. So this is why banks, are lending institutions, not just banks, are able to put forth that funding for folks for the PPP loan. And if for some reason you don't meet all the forgiveness criteria, PPP is a low interest loan. It is cut off at 1%. So when you do have to make payments on any unforgiven amount, you're only doing so at a 1% interest rate, which is pretty good for a small business loan. As I was talking about forgiveness, you have to apply for forgiveness through the lender. And they will walk you through that paperwork. They will submit it for you and go from there. Moving on to EIDL. EIDL, again, is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. This is a loan that you do apply specifically through SBA, and SBA does process the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. It's based on our traditional disaster loan program, and it's very, very similar. Through February of this year, with the disaster loan program, we have approved here in Indiana over 40,000 EIDL loans, and that has been for over $2 billion. So it's a pretty good chunk of change that we've been able to put in folks' hands with an EIDL loan. A little bit about the EIDL loan. That deadline for the EIDL loan has been extended through December 31st. Terms are 3.75 for a business, 2.75 for nonprofits. It's a 30-year loan. Loans over $25,000 are secured by UCC filing. To be eligible, you have to be a qualified small business, cooperatives, and agricultural enterprises, which a lot of times with traditional EIDL loan programs, agricultural enterprises and farms are not eligible for traditional EIDL loans. But in this case, they are, if they have 500 or fewer employees, or if they meet the size standards as outlined in the size standards chart, as well as nonprofits. With the EIDL loan, you can go back and you can request an increase to your EIDL loan. You can also request an extended deferment period on payment. We also had a program that came out, which was called the Targeted EIDL Advance. This again came into effect with the American Relief Act. And basically, we took the EIDL Advance and we were able to recreate it. And we reached out to to folks who were desperately in need. It was only for businesses and nonprofits that applied for EIDL and were in low income communities and had suffered greater than 30% economic loss and had fewer than 300 employees. This is not something that you applied for. SBA reached out to those small businesses. And I just wanted to let you know that that was out there. So if you did receive that email, that's what that was about. As I mentioned before, there are some debt relief programs that we have been able to make available for folks due to COVID to help ease having to make payments on their current 7A, 504, and microloan programs. And if you have a current 7A or 504 or microloan program and you haven't heard about this, please contact your lender who you have that loan through, and they will be able to tell you about it. Or you can go to the SBA website, which is sba.gov, and I will show you that right now. There we go, sba.gov. When I pop that up, can you see when I switch over to the internet?
No, we can just see the PowerPoint.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, so I do have to stop sharing and then reshare.
No,
okay.
you can probably just pull it over, like pull that screen over on top of your PowerPoint.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, I see how I can do it. Here we go. And we have bells going off everywhere. So this is the SBA, website. It's sba.gov. And any information that you want to learn about the SBA programs and resources, you're going to be able to find it right here. It's an amazing website, great information. Any questions that you have about those COVID-19 relief options, you just click this Learn More tab, or you can click up here on the big yellow bar at the top. I think it's a federal government thing. If there's ever an emergency or something going on and we need to get urgent information out. I know we used to do this when I was with DOD and when I was at the VA. If there was an emergency situation or there was a situation where we needed to get information out, there was always the big yellow bar. So we still have the big yellow bar here at the SBA too, and it's for the COVID relief options and resources. So you can click on those, and that's going to take you to the COVID relief options page. And as we've talked about the Paycheck Protection Program, more information on the EIDL program, and information on the SBA debt relief. So if you need more on that, please don't hesitate. Like I said, sba.gov, and check out those areas and you will be able to learn more. And bear with me for a second. I'm going to switch back to the PowerPoint and keep it moving. Okay. So the two latest programs that we have available for small businesses are very specific, and they were created due to an outcry from small business owners, especially affected in these industries. One is the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant, which is for theaters and live venues, music venues who COVID-19 hit and they were literally shut down. Some of them still are shut down because they make their money off of live performances, or they make their money off of people coming to visit them, like a museum or a zoo or an aquarium. And so there were a couple of programs that were created for these industry-specific issues. First one we're going to talk about is the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant. We just opened that back up on Monday, and there's over $16 billion available for those who qualify for the SVOG. Maximum grant is $10 million. So who's eligible for this? Live venue operators, theater producers, performing arts organizations, movie theaters, museums, operas, theaters, zoos, aquariums, so on and so forth. Talent representatives, because they've been hit hard because their actors can't work or because they can't go somewhere to perform. And you can have a maximum of 5 business entities related by affiliation. You have to have been in operation before February 29th of 2020. And you can find instructions to apply at the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant, which I just showed you on the SBA website. So there are some things that you want to do before you go and apply for the SVOG. You want to make sure, because it's a grant, you have to be registered in the SAMS system. It's the federal government system for award management, sam.gov. So you have to be registered in SAM in order to apply for the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant. We do have an FAQ that it can answer any of your questions on that on the SBA.gov website. And that's about how far I'm going to go into SVOG at this point in time. I do know that here in Indiana, we are going to be holding several webinars with the theater organizations to get more into the weeds, specifically for those theatrical and those outdoor venues that have been impacted by COVID, to help walk them through the process of applying. Those are going to be coming up in the next couple of weeks. Again, you can go on the website to find out more information. And of course, if you have any questions, you can always send us an email or call. Now we're going to talk about the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. So what is it? RRF is the latest program that SBA has put together to help the restaurant industry, who was very, very affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. So $28.6 billion has been authorized at this point for RRF. We're going to spend that money, and we're going to put out that money to small business, to those restaurants, until all that money is gone. And funds must be used at this time. Of course, it can change. Funds must be used no later than March 11th, 2023. Excuse me. And very quick announcement, literally minutes before we started our webinar, we did announce that RRF is opening up is opening up on April 30, or on Friday, for folks who are who are considered disadvantaged ownerships. It's going to be open for 2 weeks, exclusively for those small business restaurant owners, and then it's going to open up for everyone on May 3rd. So in the meantime, here are some things to think about. If you're in the restaurant industry, if you are a restaurant and you're interested in RRF, I'm going to give you a crash course over the course of the next few slides. All right, so who's eligible? We're talking about restaurants, food stands, food trucks, caterers, bars, saloons, lounges, taverns, snack and non-alcoholic beverage bars like the coffee shop or an ice cream shop or the soda shop, bakeries, brew pubs and tasting rooms and tap rooms. There's some caveats to that, but you see that right there in the parentheses. Breweries and microbreweries, wineries, distilleries, inns, licensed facilities or premises of a beverage alcohol producer where the public may taste, sample, or purchase products, and other similar places of business in which the public or patrons assemble for the primary purpose of being served food or drink. So how much can you receive from the RRF fund? SBA may provide funding for up to $5 million per location, not to exceed $10 million total for the applicant and any affiliated businesses. The minimum award, if you qualify, is $1,000. So how is this different? Applicants do not need to register in SAM. So this is how it's different from SVOG. With the SVOG, that is a grant. So you have to be registered in SAM.gov in order to apply. For RRF, because it's a fund, you do not need to be registered in SAM. We're not going to require a DUNS or a CAGE identifier in order for you to apply for RRF. As long as you have a valid ITIN, you may apply for RRF. So this opens up the fund for folks who might not be citizens yet. There's information on what the ITIN is, how to get one, and so on and so forth. So who cannot apply for RRF? Unfortunately, if your business or if your restaurant is completely shut down, then you will not be eligible for RRF. If you have already applied for or received SVOG, if you're a publicly traded company, if you're a nonprofit, or not eligible for funding of at least $1,000, then you're not going to be eligible. But it doesn't mean don't not look at the program and, you know, try your luck and see if you can. I mean, just take a look at the application after we're finished here. Eligibility, here are some different ways as a form of the organization. Are you a C Corp, S Corp? Sole proprietors are eligible, self-employed individuals, independent contractors, tribal businesses, LLC taxed as S Corp, sole proprietors, so on. Franchises can be eligible. You have to be listed on the SBA franchise directory. If you applied for bankruptcy, there's a possibility you could be eligible. However, not if you are permanently closed. Okay, so what's the eligible use of funds? You can use RRF for business expenses, construction expenses, business debt. And there's been a lot of discussion. Can I expand and build another location with RRF funds? The answer to that is no. The construction expenses that would be covered by RRF are going to be those that are COVID related. So for example, if you had to build outdoor seating, or if you had to enhance your outdoor seating, by putting in some sort of heating or air system or a ventilation system. That would be covered in an eligible use of RRF. Expanding and building a new location is not going to be a covered expense for RRF. And the reason I say this is some of the questions that we've already heard. You have until March 11th of 2023 to use the funding and to apply. Go to restaurants.sba.gov. You can also apply, and this is really kind of cool, you can also apply through your point of sale vendor. We are building partnerships with several of the point of sale vendors, and check with your point of sale vendor to see if they are, they've been onboarded to be able to apply for RRF through them. Why would you want to do that? It just makes the application process easier, because they're going to have all your tax and finance information right there that they're going to be able to upload into the system almost immediately. So that's just going to hasten the experience of being able to get that funding. You can also call the 844 number, and we will walk you through the application. Just a word of warning, if you are going to call in your application, this is going to be the longest processing time, because we're going to have to ask for a lot of information that's either going to have to, you're going to have to turn around and upload it or mail it in. And that's just going to take more time than going directly to the portal and applying online or applying through your point of sale vendor. As I said, it was just announced literally minutes before we got on here. We were in a pilot period. Pilot period actually is going on until Friday, where we've been able to, and these folks aren't getting funds, but we're enhancing the process and making sure that the process works and hoping for a very, very smooth experience for folks who are applying for RRF. That's going on right now. Priority period, days 1 through 21. Similar to what we did with PPP in the beginning of March, this priority period is accepting applications from specific applicant groups. So those are going to be small business owners, small businesses owned by women, by veterans, and socially and economically disadvantaged small business owners. They're the folks that are going to be able to apply starting Friday. And for that first bit of time. And then I believe it's on May 3rd, all eligible applicants can apply for the program. And that will be open until funds are exhausted. Just some recommendations that we have. Make sure your documentation is complete. Make sure your documentation is in order. Go on the SBA.gov website and get that checklist of documents that you need. Get them together, have them at your fingertips, and have them ready to go as you're filling out the application. It's just going to make life so much easier. Leverage your resources. If you have a CPA, say, hey, I'm applying for RRF. Have them help you fill out that paperwork. Ask your point of sale system folks. Are you one of the companies that is working with SBA on the RRF? And if they are, let them file the paperwork. Let them do the hard work to get you the funds. You can also still apply for PPP, but if you're going to apply for PPP, we do recommend that you apply for PPP before you submit that RRF application. And if you need to make any corrections on your application, there is an RRF hotline. That's the 844 number. Same number that you would call if you're going to telephone in your application. and they're going to be able to help you with those corrections. So very quickly, and I might skip over some things because I think we're running out of time. What are the priority groups for our RF? Again, women-owned businesses, veteran-owned businesses, socially and economically disadvantaged businesses. So how do you calculate that? It's similar to 8A, but it's a self-certification in this case. 51% of the business has to be owned by, in order to be eligible for a priority group. 51% ownership must be by a woman, veteran, or socially and economically disadvantaged. Now, that doesn't mean one person. You can have a combination. So let's say you have, three owners, and 25%, one owner is a woman, one owner is a veteran, and the other owner is neither of those. As long as the woman and the veteran own 51% of the business, then you're eligible. Please keep in mind though, please don't go and in order to make this priority group, please don't go out and change the ownership paperwork for your company in order to qualify as a priority group, because SBA will, once that, if you have been funded through RRF under a priority group and you were not a priority group prior to application or prior to, I believe, February of 2020, March of 2020, then SBA is they're gonna come back and say, no, I'm sorry, we have to, we need our money back. So just kind of keep that in mind. How do you apply? Again, we've got the call center. It's the 844-279-8898. Best way to look up information and to apply is through sba.gov/restaurants. And we have been uploading that information in multiple languages. We have, I believe, over 25 different languages available to help guide folks through this process right now. And I know we've been adding information in multiple languages and more languages every single day. Okay, so cross eligibility. This is a nifty little chart. And I'll let you read it. And we'll also send you a copy because I'm sure you're sick of hearing me read things out loud. But the bottom line is you can apply for multiple resources and multiple relief options. There are some ifs, ands, or buts, but you can do it. Just pay attention to the chart and you'll be okay. So those are our COVID relief options. And we do also still have our traditional SBA resource products. We have our free one-on-one business counseling and mentorship. And what's really great about this is these are business experts. These are business advising experts. We have several SCORE chapters, small business development centers and women's business centers throughout the state of Indiana. You can find a resource partner near you at sba.gov/local-assistance. And I mean, we have amazing resource partners and they can help walk you through the process for anything from COVID relief options to traditional SBA financing, to putting together your business plan, to taking a look at your business plan and saying, okay, here's where we need to make improvements, to succession planning. They can also, since they're right there in the community, they also have their finger on the pulse of what's available locally. So if there's any funding that's available through your county or through your city or through the state of Indiana, or maybe there's some economic development programs where you can find funding or resources or collaborations, they can, since they're right there, they're going to know about that. And they're going to be able to help you take a look at your business and decide, hey, here are the different available resources. Let's work together to figure out what's really going to work for you. I know you came in and you said, yeah, I'm interested in a PPP loan. Well, we've got this other option right here in the county you're in, and this might be a better fit for you. So I cannot say enough about how amazing our SBA resource partners are. They are literally one of the best resources that SBA has. We also have our traditional SBA guaranteed loans, such as the 7A loan, the 504 loan. We have security bonds, SBA backed security bonds. We have a microloan program, several different options to achieve funding for your small business, whether you want to buy some warehouse space or you need to do some reconstruction, or you want to buy some new equipment or refurbish some equipment, or maybe you're interested in enhancing your research and development program. We've got the SBIR program. Maybe you're a contractor and you're just starting out, and you know that you're going to get more clients if you have a bond. If you're bonded, we can help be a guarantor on that bond, so you can start building your contracting portfolio. Tons of funding options and access to capital options that SB has available for you. Talked a little bit about the home and business disaster loan programs. EIDL isn't just for COVID. EIDL is also the economic injury disaster loan for our traditional disaster loan programs and assistance through that, and our federal contracting programs, helping folks achieve their women-owned small business designation, or their veteran-owned or their service-disabled veteran-owned small business designation. We have the 8A program to help folks learn about federal contracting and helping them develop the relationships and providing them with tools and set aside opportunities to, again, grow and enhance that contracting portfolio on the federal level. And when you're doing that on the federal level, sometimes that pays off and benefits you on the state and local level as well. So those are just some of the traditional products and services that are available through SBA. Again, I'm going to say it, SBA resource partners, best thing in the entire world. Here in Indiana, we have our small business development centers. We have our SCORE chapters. In Fort Wayne, we have the Women's Entrepreneurial Opportunity Center. They are located at the NIC, and they are absolutely fabulous and amazing. I cannot say enough great things about Leslie and Tammy and their team, the programs that they've put together through some of the CARES Act funding, in fact, that they received from SBA to help women entrepreneurs in the Fort Wayne area. We have also have our Central Indiana Women's Business Center down in Indianapolis. Again, they are amazing. They are attached to the Indy Chamber and are very involved with the Business Opportunity Initiative in Indianapolis. And they're some of my favorite folks. So if you have a small business in Indianapolis and you're just starting out, they've got some really great programs and some really neat resources and creative resources to help folks especially those on the in disadvantaged communities, to be able to start their small business. We also have our Vet Biz Central, which is our veteran business outreach center. We don't have one specifically in Indiana, but the folks up in Michigan who take care of us, Abron and his team are great, and I love them too. So find out who's near you. All you have to do is go to sba.gov, click on this little local assistance tab right there, and put in your zip code, put in your city and state, what have you. It's going to pull up all the resource partners right there for you. And links to remember. I'm going to say it again because I've said it 8 million times, but it's worth saying again. Information on all SBA programs, resources, and tools is at sba.gov. And you can actually get to the rest of these websites or the rest of these pages just by going to sba.gov. COVID economic aid options, it's /relief. Paycheck protection is /PPP. Economic injury disaster loans, /EIDL. Shuttered venue operators grant /SVOGRANT. And the restaurant relief fund /restaurants. You can also sign up for our email updates at sba.gov/updates. Follow us on Twitter, please, pretty please, at SBA.gov, or follow the Indiana District Office at SBA_Indiana. National Office has an Instagram that you can follow. If you need to send us an email, it's indiana@sba.gov, or you can call our office. Leave us a voicemail and we will get back to you. Just a word of warning, we are working remotely, and that's probably not going to change for any time in the next few months. So if you do call, please leave us a voicemail and we will get back to you. That number is 317-226-7272. And just something I wanted to let you know about the our social media. I know a lot of times folks will call us or have questions of, well, I heard this. I heard that the SVOG is live. I heard that RRF is live. And it won't have happened yet. And just to let you know, if you received it from SBA, or if it's posted on my SBA Twitter, then it's for, or on the SBA website, then it's for real. Then it's true. I know sometimes there are some folks who get ahead of the game and they'll put out information about changes to loan programs or changes to different programs that we have, and they might put it out early, or it hasn't been approved yet, or Congress hasn't passed the laws yet. It is true if you see it posted on any of our SBA sites. So if you receive it in one of our email blasts, then it's true. If you see it on the SBA.gov or SBA.gov, then it's true. If you see it on my Twitter feed from SBA_Indiana, then it's true. So sometimes that might seem like we're holding back, but we're not. We're making sure everything is true and it's up and it's operational before we announce it. I take that up and operational. But it's not true until you see it posted on our stuff. So, anything else? Any questions?
Yeah, Yeah, we have two of them here from
two questions.
Yeah, maybe some more. So the first one is, are there any funding help for real estate companies?
It depends on what you want to use the funding for. If you are, let's say that you're buying furniture for your office space, or you're looking to, well, let me use this as an example. In our building in Indianapolis, I've kind of watched for the last few years. And I don't know if these folks have used SBA funding to do this, but I saw them start out with a small space, and they did renovations, and then they bought the space, or they leased the space across the hallway, and they did renovations there, and it's absolutely gleaming and absolutely beautiful. And in the case of that construction, yes, they could have used SBA funding for that. However, if you are looking to buy rental properties, if you are looking to, if you're looking to buy rental properties, then no, you cannot buy a building with SBA funds. Does that make sense?
That was sent by Deanne. Yes, she says yes.
Okay.
And then the next question is, are there any funding that are doing construction remodels that is overseen by a woman?
Is there any funding? What?
Yeah, that it just says, and Deanne, if you're around, that's your question too, so you can pop on and ask that or explain that maybe a little more.
Yes. So what I'm asking is that our general contractor that we have is a female, and so we're trying to see if we can get into, or if the SBA has any type of funding or guidance for that, because we're getting into like the new construction, new models and everything, and she is a woman in that almost dominant male field.
So let me ask a couple of questions. So you're a construction company, or you're a real estate management company? What?
We're a little bit of both.
Okay. Are you looking to get into federal contracting?
We are, yes.
Okay, perfect. This is what I would suggest. If you go on SBA.gov, and I'm going to share this. I don't know, maybe I am sharing. I don't know. I just don't know anymore. Okay, give me a second. All right, so let me go to, all right, so let me go to the main page. All right, up here at the top, federal contracting.
Okay.
Ton of information on the different contracting programs that we have available for small businesses, including a women-owned small business federal contracting program. This is something that I would highly recommend that you take a look at. And there's something else I'm going to talk about in just a minute. The Women-Owned Small Business Federal Contracting Program. This is going to help you achieve your Women-Owned Small Business certification. Now, what does that mean? So when you're bidding on federal contracts, having certain designations such as woman-owned small business, or veteran-owned small business, or MBE, or so on and so forth. There's several of them. If you have specific, or 8A, if you have specific certifications, then you're going to be eligible for more federal contracts, because the federal government is required, much like the state and local municipalities are usually required, to set aside and give X amount or a certain percentage of their contracting dollars to small businesses. And within that, they're required to, and I believe with women-owned small businesses, 5% of all of those federal contracts have to go to women-owned small businesses. So you want to have that certification, because that means you can bid on more contracts. So that would be one of the first things that I would recommend.
Okay.
Is start looking at start looking at achieving that woman-owned small business certification. You can find more information on that, excuse me, on the WOSB or in the federal contracting section. The other thing that I would suggest is take a look at the 8A Business Development Program. It's another set-aside program. It's actually a business development program, literally. It is a 9-year program. And you get out of it what you put into it. I have seen companies come out of the 8A program, and a few years later, I mean, they literally aren't even considered small businesses anymore, because they have taken the tools that they have learned in the 8A Business Development Program and have been able to grow and expand to the point where almost all off of federal contracting, they're now considered a big business. So it's kind of a good program, kind of a beneficial one. With the 8A Business Development Program, 8A is for socially and economically disadvantaged small businesses. Women-owned small businesses fall into that category. So there's a good chance that you would be eligible. You can see more about the qualifications right here on the website. Like I said, it's a 9-year commitment, but it's worth it. It's a really good program. And not only from, the things that you'll learn through the program, but through the connections that you'll make and the networking that you'll be able to do, putting together and collaborating, starting out as an 8A, as a subcontractor, and being able to grow your portfolio that way, and learning, what businesses that you want to work with. I mean, you might find businesses that you've never worked with before, and all of a sudden you're collaborating on a contract, and you're like, wow, we want to work together more. And it's just kind of a win-win for everybody. There's also some other great contracting programs. Depending on your physical location, you can take a look at the Hub Zone program, similar to 8A and Women-Owned. Hub Zone is another category where there are a percentage of set-asides. This is based on the physical location of your company. There is a map where you can put in your address. It's somewhere on here. Located in a Hub Zone. If you put in your address, it's basically there are some times that you can be in the proper zip code, but on the wrong side of the street for being eligible. But it doesn't hurt to, just put in your address, find out if you're a Hub Zone address, and then you can put in you can put in the paperwork in order to be Hub Zone certified as well.
Okay.
If you're not already, before you do any of this, if you're not already, I would recommend that you go on sam.gov and create an account. That is the system for awards management. In order to bid on any federal contract right now, you have to be in SAMS.
Okay.
You have to be registered in SAM. So that's like step numero uno for any of these. And even if you want to go for 8A or Hub Zone or women-owned small business, that's going to be like the first things that they tell you have to do, or the first question that's going to be asked. Have you registered your business in SAMS? So go ahead and do that. We do have, for the 8A program, my point of contact for that in our office is program manager for that is Vernice Mathis. She does have webinars on how to apply for 8A. She usually has those once a month, every couple of months or so. If you kind of follow us on Twitter, I usually tweet about it a couple of times before the actual event happens. You can also follow us on Eventbrite and, sign up for one of those webinars, sign up for one of those classes. She is much more entertaining and interesting than I am. She might talk as much though.
What is your SBA Twitter?
At SBA _ Indiana.
Okay. Two more.
See, right there.
There we go. Two more really quick. What is the deadline for the PPP forgiveness?
PPP forgiveness. Talk to your lender. Okay. Depends on when you applied for PPP. Whether you're in first draw, whether you're in second draw, I would definitely, when you become eligible to apply for forgiveness, your lender should start hounding you to help you get that paperwork in, because if your loan is forgiven, they know that the federal government has to write them a check. So they will so definitely help you get that in on time.
A little bit of background, my company, we applied for the first draw of PPP and the bank actually sent us forgiveness paperwork and said, fill this out. So that if your
that's
lender
what they're supposed to do.
If your lender hasn't done that, then you'll want to reach out to them. And the very last one, oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, I said gentle nudge.
Yeah. The very last one is, I recently purchased a self-storage location which needs updating and additional units. What would be available through the SBA?
SBA traditional lending would be available. If you go back to the that SBA page, up at the top, and these tabs are at the top of every SBA page. So you don't even have to be on SBA.gov to get to them. We'll go over here to funding programs. All of our traditional assistance is right here. So you can take a look at our different SBA loan programs. Something else that I would recommend is, remember I talked about our resource partners? They can make some recommendations on funding as well. What's going to work best for you in order to enhance that storage space and to buy more units. They're going to be able to take a look at your portfolio, take a look at your business plan and say, okay, so we've got the 504 through SBA. We've got this through, and I'm just pulling out of the air, Hamilton County Economic Development. We've got this through the state of Indiana. We've got this through this microloan fund, or this microloan funder. They're going to be able to give you options outside of federally backed loans. That's what I'm trying to say. And they're going to be able to help guide you through what's going to be best for you and your business and how you do business. So I would definitely reach out to, I'm sorry, I forgot the name. Yeah, I could look on chat, couldn't I?
Deb Childs.
Deb?
Deb, yep.
Deb, where are you located, Deb?
Well, where am I located, or where is the facility located? There are two different locations: Northern Indiana, South Bend, St. Joseph County. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would suggest that you've got a few options, folks, to talk to up there. Michiana Score.
Yes.
I would definitely talk to them. Talk to a business advisor up there. And also, is it Northeast? Yeah. Northeast Small Business Development Center. Peggy, last name starts with a C. I don't remember how to say it right now. I'm blanking. But she is excellent. The folks, any of the mentors with Michiana are excellent. Reach out to them and talk about your plans. And don't be shy. Reach out to both of them. I mean, the thing with the resource partners, you can work with more than one at a time. This is not a cheating thing. Nobody's going to get jealous. Work with as many mentors as you can, because number one, it's free. And number two, it's going to give you two different perspectives.
For sure.
But they're going to be able to tell you there might be some local funding that's available.
Okay, thank you very much, Laura.
Yeah, and I second the SCORE. I am a mentor for the Northeast Indiana SCORE, so we encourage you to we encourage you to reach out.
That? Nicole, did I know that? And
it's pretty new. No, it's pretty new. I just joined them about 2 months ago. So
okay, that's why.
It's been great. And you know, that SCORE is literally there to help you grow your business. And
yes.
You know, so definitely reach out to SCORE. And a lot of people don't know that SCORE exists. So you know, reach out to them and your small business development center for sure.
And just to pitch on SCORE again, what's really cool about SCORE is these folks are volunteers.
Absolutely.
And so they're helping people because they love to help people. And we're not talking about folks who, you know, just happen to go to business school and have a degree in business. No, SCORE mentors are actual, originally they were retired small business owners and big business executives. Not so much anymore. A lot of the SCORE mentors are currently running their own small businesses or are executives at major corporations like Eli Lilly or PepsiCo or something of that nature. These are folks who have been there, done that, got the t-shirt, had the t-shirt put in a frame and got another one. I mean, these folks know what's going on and they are passionate and they are there because, you know, they're not there for a paycheck. Well, I mean, Nicole might be. No, I'm joking.
Nope, I'm volunteer too. So it is. We really enjoy.
It's a volunteer organization. And I mean, it's just amazing perspectives and just, you know, another set of eyes on your business plan or what you're kind of thinking about doing never ever hurts. And in fact, can only help.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. This has been wonderful. Lots of information. We will definitely, this is recorded. So if there was a lot of information, don't feel bad. You can go back and rewatch it. And we also have PDFs of the slides. So we will actually email that to everybody who attended today so that you have that and you can refer to that for questions. And, you know, reach out to the SBA, reach out to the BBB. We're here to help you. And there's some numbers and web addresses. But again, Laura, thank you so much. Such great information, and really want to thank you for being our partner as well.
Absolutely, and thank you. And like Nicole said, if you ever need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can reach out to me directly as well. And we will absolutely do everything that we can to help you out. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for attending today. And we'll see you next month for our Lunch and Learn.